You ever notice how Democratic scandals are interesting, but ultimately not that important? And Republican scandals are important, but ultimately not that interesting. I mean, you can cite sides on the opposite side, but in general, Democratic scandals have been about, sex and cheating on your wife and shit like that. And in general, the big major Republican scandals have been about, like the SNL crisis and lying about going to war, those kinds of things. So I find it amazing that Herman Cain has managed to embody both of those scandals at the same time. Like, he has this interesting but ultimately not that important scandal about the sexual harassment suit. I think the most interesting thing about that is how badly he's handled it. Like, he had to have known it was going to come out, and you would think that they had kind of discussed how they were going to deal with it. Of course, if they had discussed it, I would think that they would have put it out on their own. Anyway, that was terrible, and that's the worst part about this. I mean, I don't ultimately know what's going to come out. I mean, what could really come out? He doesn't look like the raper type, you know what I mean? I could be wrong, I guess, but he obviously did something if they paid out $35,000 to somebody, because that's not really that much chump change, but we'll see. But the other one that is important, but ultimately not that interesting, is unfolding right now, and it's about how Americans for Prosperity seems to have funded his campaign, which I've said all along that someone is paying this man to run in some way. And as it turns out, Prosperity USA gave him $40,000, which is a charity, and it's illegal for a charity to give money to a campaign. So that's kind of unfolding, and that's interesting. And I think what it's going to come back to is that he is a Koch brothers candidate. He was fielded to bring up these other issues and to kind of divert attention and to make the Republican field not look so lily-white. But he's running both of these scandals at the same time, and I think that's just amazing, don't you? I mean, he's got both of them going at the same time. Usually you have to have two candidates to get these kinds of scandals. That's cool. And I have to say, I don't know, obviously, but what was Rick Perry on? Okay, seriously, that speech in New Hampshire, there is no way that that's just him natural. I think he either had a little pill or took a little shot or, had a little frangelica in his coffee or something. But he needs to go ahead and fess up to it, because him sitting there is going, no, that's just me. Makes him look kind of weird. But you know who I miss? I miss Michelle Bachmann. Where did she go? She hasn't hardly said anything stupid recently. She hasn't really said anything at all. Although that Tea Party group did come out and tell her to drop out of the race. Which I think, I'm sure she enjoyed that. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm fascinated about these two scandals with Herman Cain. I'm interested to see what's going to happen, if the women are going to come forward, and if we're going to find out that he was a wholly bought candidate from the Koch brothers. So we'll take a look.